Welcome to the Funeral Nation Web Show, the best effing web show.
Welcome everybody to Funeral Nation episode number 32. I'm Ryan Thogbarton. That is Jeff, the funeral commander Harbison, in his new command post out in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. As you can tell, Jeff, you've been out of the office some because you got a nice tan.
Yeah, I basically walked from my apartment to my car and it just turned dark. I don't know what happened. Not that I'm playing any golf or anything.
Well, Jeff, who's our title sponsor now for Funeral Nation? We haven't really blown this out of the water. We mentioned it, but let's do it up this episode.
Well, I'm really excited because we're going to have their executive vice president, Fast Funding Group, Jamie Meredith, on with us today to kind of explain what that is. But these guys are really smart. They combine companies and to do factoring for life insurance. I use them personally at our funeral home. And in fact, I have a question. Why don't you do it in the first place? It's just nuts to me that funeral homes don't factor life insurance policies and do it themselves. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So it's going to be a great platform. They're great sponsors. Jamie Meredith is top shelf.
Yep.
And I think everybody get a chance to meet him if you haven't before here shortly.
Excellent. Well, what do we got on the rest of the show?
Well, we're going to have Jamie on from Fast Funding Group. The spotlight on the funeral director comes to us from Indiana, something a little different. I think it's really at heartstrings. And WTF is going to give us a reason not to drink while you're on duty. So what's the buzz out here, man?
Well, Jeff, there was a billboard that was done in Ontario, Canada by a company. The billboard just said, and we'll show a picture of here, text and drive, and then they put a funeral home logo on it, and it's created a lot of buzz because when you search the funeral home, it's not actually a funeral home, and it's just a kind of a PSA and public announcement campaign to draw awareness to texting while driving. I've experienced the effects of texting while driving, getting hit head on by a girl that was texting, so it's something that I am a little bit passionate about and just the dangers of. So, I honestly wouldn't think that this was a bad idea, even if it was a funeral home that ran this billboard.
Well, yeah, it's funny you say that. I think it's brilliant. I mean, part of what we do, in fact, we're going to see that on our spotlight today. It's got to put some message, folks, for young people, for all of us. I think we have a responsibility. So, in some respects, it's great to have out here that we need to have pre-need, you need to pre-plan, but let's be a little more proactive. And when funeral homes do something like this or funeral homes speak, community members listen. So I think it's brilliant. Speaking of buzz and moving on, our segment here was sponsored by the Simple Funeral Payment Plan, which is powered by CareCap. These guys are the accounts receivable recovery experts. If you haven't been paid for your funeral yet, then it's not over. Roll that promo, Ryan.
The funeral isn't over if you haven't been paid. Contact us at simplefuneralpaymentplan.com to find out how to become a $0 accounts receivable funeral home.
All right, Jeff, who do we have coming up right now in our interview segment?
Hey, exciting. We have Jamie Meredith of the Fast Funding Group, and it's a great interview. You really need to listen to what he's got to say. Let's go ahead and roll it. Jamie, welcome to the Funeral Nation show, or shall I say welcome back?
Well, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Glad to be back, man.
Good to have you here, man. You're one of our favorite. You're a star, not rising. You've actually elevated. I think now you're a meteor or something. You're just coming to the earth and blowing things up.
And I've got my pants legs up real high right now.
Yeah.
Well, good thing.
Brother.
Yeah, see, that's why we like to have you. It just is no mixing it up in here at all. So it's towel snapping. We should all just have one to kind of get after it. Hey, look, tell us a little about yourself, kind of how you got your start and what you're doing there now.
Yeah, I actually got a crazy start in the funeral business, Jeff, and the unlikeliest of places. I was actually manufacturing wood putty at the bright old age of 19, and had a brother that had been in the insurance business for a number of years and had encouraged me to get my insurance license. said that I could make a fortune selling life insurance and pre-need funerals. And so like a dumb kid that didn't know what he wanted to do, I jumped in both feet. And luckily for me, found my passion. And so for a number of years, worked on the life insurance and pre-need side, worked my way up to a couple of different companies. Had a lot of success early on, blessed because I had no sales training or sales ability whatsoever, but just had a passion for helping people. And that kind of showed. And up until 2005, I had always worked on the life insurance side of the business, selling, running sales teams for a couple of different companies. And Security National Life, based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, actually recruited me to come in and head up a new program that they had called Fast Funding. And basically it was factoring insurance receivables for funeral homes. And so we started down this road of funding insurance receivables for funeral homes in 2005 and quickly grew it into the company that it is today. And so now we work with a number of funeral homes nationwide and helping eliminate receivables for funeral homes.
Excellent.
That's fantastic. Well, Jamie, we are ecstatic to have the Fast Funding Group as our title sponsor for the Funeral Nation show. Can you explain to our FNers exactly what is FFG or Fast Funding Group?
Sure, absolutely. It's a good question. Well, the Fast Funding Group is actually a collection of assignment funding companies that we assembled starting in 2005. As mentioned, I came to work with Security National to head up their Fast Funding program. And at the time, we operated a company called Security National Fast Funding. A couple of years later, about a year and a half or so later, we ended up picking up a little small company called Pegasus Funding, merged it into our group. And a year or so after that, we had the opportunity to acquire C&J Financial, which at the time was our largest competitor. And so that made a perfect sense for us. And so started the consolidation process in the assignment funding industry. And then for about 6 years, we grew C&J Financial into the largest provider of insurance assignment funding in the nation. And then a couple of years ago, we more than doubled our capacity when American Funeral Financial, Funeral Funding Center, and Mortician's Choice joined the Fast Funding Group. And now we have 3 offices in 3 different cities, working with more than 2,600 funeral homes. This year, we'll do on track to process more than 42,000 funerals and provide more than $300 million to the funeral industry.
Wow. You know, that, Jamie, we've talked about that all year, where you have the ability to come together for strategic alliance, also merging, working. It makes a lot of sense. So having those brands under one umbrella, I think, is really a smart idea. From a customer experience, basically the funeral home, has anything changed?
Well, as you know, Jeff, change is constant. And with the Fast Funding Group, there's no exception. However, the changes that we've made, we've tried to minimize the impact that they actually have on the customer experience. Or if they do have an impact, we want that impact to enhance the customer's experience. As an example, when the addition of American Funeral Financial and Funeral Funding Center came to the Fast Funding Group, we kept open their offices in Greenville, South Carolina, and Hollywood, Florida, just to minimize the customer experience or the negative customer experience that one would have when companies combine together and close offices and things of that nature. Some areas where we've actually seen some great improvement in the customer experience is with technology. With us coming together as one group on the back end side, we can actually provide more technologically capabilities for the funeral home. We've started an online assignment funding management system that allows those firms to be able to track and manage their insurance claims 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So as we go forward, there will be continued changes, but those changes will be twofold. One, to improve the customer experience, and 2, to improve our internal efficiency. If we can't accomplish both of those tasks, we're not going to be making those changes.
Well, that's fantastic. So, Jamie, can you share with us a little bit more about what Fast Funding Group does for funeral homes?
Well, guys, as y'all both know, being in the funeral business as long as y'all have, accepting insurance assignments as a form of payment is a great payment option for not only for the funeral homes that are accepting those, but for the families. Many families purchase life insurance to help pay for funeral expenses. The problem or the challenge is the processing and handling of those insurance assignments. The average assignment takes about 42 days on average to collect, plus the hassle headache of dealing with insurance companies that funeral homes are kind of strapped with. Simply put, fast funding eliminates all of that, eliminates the hassle headache and cash flow delay in processing insurance death claims by providing funding within 24 hours of verification of benefits, therefore eliminating all of the problems that are associated with that. We kind of take that administrative burden on to allow the funeral home to focus on what they do best, which is serving families rather than hassling with insurance companies.
Interesting. Well, besides being a media personality and a fantastic industry writer, by the way, look at the Funeral Commander's blog from here. I know, choke. I can't choke. I'm 1 week away from having the cigar lounge ready to go.
That's awesome.
I spend my funeral days working every day with doing the business of the business, right? And Jamie, I can tell you that last week I was just up in Wisconsin, talking with a funeral home owner, and I looked at him and said, "Why? Tell me about what you do with receivables. Tell me what you do with your assignments." Well, we go through. I said, "Can you just?" And I'm going to get you to answer this though. But I looked at it and said, "Can you give me one common sense, plausible reason that you don't have a company that does this for you, like Fast Funding Group?" So, Jamie, is there any disadvantage whatsoever doing business with you guys?
Well, I guess there's always a disadvantage to everything, Jeff. And if you enjoy dealing with insurance companies, if you love having receivables outstanding for 30, 60, 90 days, if you love the cash flow problems that creates, and if you love higher administrative costs in your business, then those would certainly be areas and disadvantages of using us. However, obviously, if you don't like receivables, if you don't like dealing with insurance companies, and if you don't like higher administrative costs, then there is absolutely no disadvantage in using the Fast Funding Group to process and fund your insurance claims.
There you have it, folks. That'll preach actually down there in Gaston, Alabama.
Amen to that.
And you know what? I believe that this is a smart move right here. I use it myself at my funeral home.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, if a policy is declined, do you offer other options for the funeral home to get paid?
It's a great question, Ryan. For a number of years, we had not. We're one thing and one thing only. We process and fund insurance assignments better than anybody else in the industry. We feel that's the reason that we've become as large as we have by being focused on one specific task. With that being said, a couple of months ago, we created a partnership, as we announced here on the FN Nation, where we partnered with At-Need Credit to be able to offer additional payment options to those families that either don't have enough insurance to pay for a funeral, or they have a policy that's declined, or for whatever reason, we are just not able to fund that particular policy. It's not assignable, contestable, or whatever the issue is. So to answer your question, yes, we now have At-Need Credit where families can actually go on directly from our website. We have a tab on each of our company's websites, cjf.com, americanfuneralfinancial.com, and funeralfundingcenter.com, where they can go to the At-Need tab, click apply, and they can actually apply for a direct-to-consumer loan. If for whatever reason they're declined on that direct-to-consumer loan and the funeral home is willing to work out payment options with the family, where they have 70, 80% of the money down and they want to allow the family to pay out the balance over time, they can use the simple funeral payment plan that's powered by CareCap, which is right there on the page too, and set that monthly payment up to be automatically deposited. So yes, we do offer other payment options outside of the insurance assignment funding process.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is called a shameless plug. No, it's great to work with it. Jamie, you're one of those guys in the industry that, a handshake's a handshake. And I think that's something that I personally enjoy working alongside you and your crew up there. So we're going to close this up a little bit. And you've been in the industry for a while. If you can wave a magic wand, where do you see our greatest challenges that you would like to see fixed in our industry?
Wow, that's a big question. From us, we deal on the financial side of the business. We don't sell caskets or widgets or other types of products. We focus on the financial side of things. And for me, in looking at the industry as a whole, with the 2,600 plus funeral homes that we deal with and the tens of thousands of funerals that we find, the biggest challenge, I would say, Jeff, is maintaining profitability from an independent funeral home standpoint. Over the last 20 years, profitability, the profit margins in the funeral industry have declined by nearly 30%. In just about every major market in the country, the funeral homes are saturated in a large part of the country where there's, in my opinion, not enough death calls to go around.
Right.
So what you end up having is funeral homes that are competing against each other based on price. And they're creating basically a commodity market where the only real driver of whether or not a family uses a firm anymore is who offers the cheapest price.
Right.
And as we know in this particular business, price alone will not create profitability. You end up, doing 3 times as more calls, but you're making less money. What's interesting though, we did a study with about 600 or 700 of our funeral home clients, the 2015 study. And what they found, guys, what was really interesting was families that used insurance to pay for funerals that were funded through us spent 31% more on average.
Wow.
Than those that paid with a check or credit card. Let's think about that for just a moment. You want to talk about increasing profitability, increasing your revenue. It may be as simple as changing the preferred method of payment at a funeral home. Was actually out west last week and done a training with a group of funeral homes and when I asked the question, when a family comes in, what payment options do you get? They said, we accept cash, check, or credit card. That's, 70% of families have life insurance. What do you do with their life insurance? Well, we only accept life insurance on a have-to basis. Have-to meaning they don't have cash, check, or credit card. And it's really insane. So a lot of times funeral homes and funeral directors, really shoot themselves in the foot just by the way in which, they offer their payment methods. And one area that they can improve that is by offering insurance.
I agree with you. Look, cash flow's king, today. And again, you and I swim constantly in the business of doing business. And folks, it really isn't that hard, right? It isn't that hard. Well, Jamie, thank you. You're a scholar. You're a friend. Love seeing the pictures of the boys. That's always great in the crowd. And I knew you were good at sales. Yeah, there they are. What a crowd that is.
Yeah. Crowd of 4 little mini-me's.
Yeah, they are. I swear I've never seen anything like it. Plus, you had to know you were good at sales when that poor woman who loves you so much said yes.
Amen to that, brother.
That's it.
Best sales con ever.
Yeah, it's still working too, man. Exactly. Customer service, right?
Still kicking.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you so much. You're a great friend, and thank you for also sponsoring our show. You make it happen, and we're going to do some good stuff here in the next few weeks with you.
Well, guys, I know you are trying to close this out. Y'all got other stuff, but I want to tell both of y'all congratulations on the success of Funeral Nation.
Thank you.
It's been amazing. Brian, I've known you since you started connecting directors, and Jeff, known you for many years for your funeral homes. But what y'all done on the Funeral Nation is phenomenal. And so I appreciate y'all's work and wish y'all much continued success in the future. And good luck on your new gig at Foresight Companies. And make sure and tell the General Dan Assard hello for me, man.
I can tell you that. You can see my tan is starting to work a little bit now.
Yeah. Maybe it'll make you look a little better.
All right, buddy. Y'all take care.
All right, thanks, Jamie.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you, buddy.
Jeff, I love having Jamie on. He's always packed full of information, great ideas, solid dude. So happy to have the Fast Funding Group be our title sponsor. This interview segment that was brought to us by Memory Care by AP Laser. Let's roll that promo.
This effing segment was brought to you by Memory Care, powered by AP Laser. Memory Care is a life story etched forever. For more information, visit aplaser.com.
Okay, Jeff. It's spotlight on a funeral director's time. Who does our spotlight shine on today?
As you know, we like to share positive stories and shine the light on funeral directors and professionals making a difference in their community and our profession. This week, we shine the spotlight on the staff at Donahue Funeral Home in Elwood, Indiana. Unfortunately, a young man lost his life. I talked to Ned Donahue about this at his funeral home, and this was a request, and he accommodated by the family of Chris Bell, who was killed just recently on Mother's Day. Sitting outside the front door of the Elwood Funeral Home, Donahue's, situated on a flatbed wrecker, the charred remains of the Pontiac car that the 17-year-old died just a few days before. The family wanted it to be a lesson. In fact, Rodney Andrews, Chris's brother, said, "I want this to be a lesson learned to everybody." So during a time of immense pain, Chris's family made a very public statement. "It's very hard even having the car out there and having to look at it," said his brother. "However, just slow down. And when you guys are going somewhere, take your time. Nothing in this world is worth a life." And, it's interesting. We talked about the texting and driving. Here's a speed factor. People taking pictures of the car. They walked past it. They were touched by the wreckage. But most important for the family, it made them stop and think.
Yeah.
As Chris's mother said, a young man that lost his life, that the display can prevent even one driver from making the same mistake Chris made. It's worth it. And my hat's off to Ned and his staff, because this is something the family wanted, and he saw fit. In fact, he worked with the record service to get that on the flatbed there to appropriately show it. This is a strong message. You know what? And so funeral homes, for folks out here, don't think what you're doing is, well, I don't know if I want to. I think we have a responsibility to keep life sustained, right? The last thing that we want to do is something like this, especially with a young person. So
right.
My hat's off to Ned and the Donahue Funeral Home. Thank you guys for what you're doing out there. That's a great spotlight.
That sure is a great spotlight, Jeff, and thanks for reaching out to Ned and getting his thoughts on this. A powerful, powerful message. All right, we know after our spotlight, we roll into the WTF segment, and this has kind of become that one of those staple things that everybody mentions when they see us. It's a lighthearted, humorous look at something going on in our profession. It's something that you're going to talk about Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, Jeff, when we saw this headline, it made us say, "What, the funeral?"
Yeah, this is from overseas, and I'm just going to read from what it told us. It said it was a boozy lunch gone wrong. A 24-year-old undertaker temporarily lost his hearse he was driving, complete with casket and corpse, while taking a break in Germany during a long journey from Italy to Poland. Boys on a cross-country trip, he's got to stop and eat, right?
Right.
So the undertaker told the police in Munich that he parked his hearse somewhere in the region in the central train station. After eating lunch, the driver said he couldn't find the vehicle, the hearse, leading the police to believe that alcohol was involved. You think? Contributing to his lapse in memory, the local media reported. So a day later, they found the hearse with Polish license plates turned up near the Saar River, nearly 2 miles away from the train station. Bless his heart. He just wanted to get something to eat. I'm in Germany. I need to have a drink. Bada bing, bada boom. The hearse is gone. What you going to do now?
Oh, man. And to think that last year we had a viral article here in the States where just, a funeral director stops at McDonald's to grab a bite to eat. He didn't even lose the hearse, the body, nothing. And it's a big deal. So, this is WTF all over the place.
Yeah, well, we can say that our friends across the pond, the Europeans, they're leading us out there. Those Europeans do stuff much more better than we do.
There we go. Well, Jeff, this WTF segment is brought to us by Disrupt Media and the Disrupt You Show. Roll that promo.
At Disrupt Media, we're a social media content agency that focuses on storytelling for funeral companies. We use real stories to build creative strategies that achieve actual business goals. Want to learn more? Visit disruptmedia.co.
Okay, well, we know what this means.
It's almost the end, bro. Let's just kiss and say goodbye.
Man, you can sing too.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it?
Man, you can do it all, brother. All right, Jeff. When are we going to get the cigar and rum back? That's what I want to know.
I'm working on that next week. If you know, we're filming and taping early in the mornings here, and they do have a fire hazard issue. However, I do have a location that has agreed to accommodate me with my habits with rum drinking. Sounds like I've been doing it this morning already. I know, that's bad, isn't it? That's what's happened. I'm in detox. No cigar, no rum. It's just not good.
We're sitting here with the editor looking at ways we can animate cigar smoke coming, from your face or something during the episode. But
yeah,
I can't wait to get you back in your natural habitat with a cigar in your hand and drink.
I need to, man, because you can tell it just throws me off base. I can't function correctly.
It's all good. All right, folks. Well, Jeff, what do we have coming up on episode 33 next week?
Man, it's always good stuff. We'll have another guest, a surprise folks for our spotlight on a funeral director, as well as a fresh WTF. What the funeral is that all about?
All right, FNers, keep engaging with us on social media. Make sure you're checking out our Facebook page, liking, sharing the content, visiting our website, funeralnation.tv, submitting WTF segment ideas, as well as spotlight on a funeral director. So if you know a funeral director out there that's making a difference in their community, please go to our website, funeralnation.tv, and submit their information there so we can make sure we feature and shine the spotlight on those funeral directors doing great works in their community. Mm-hmm. Okay, Jeff. Well, I'm glad you're finally settled in, so to speak, in your new home. Appreciate you, brother.
Love you like a play cousin.
Until next time, have a great effing week.
Out here. We'll see y'all.